Okay, today we are gonna explain Qatar-Britain relations. This is Qatar history, and this topic is about the first half of the 20th century. Okay, that is why our objective is understand the relations of Qatar and Britain during the first half of 20th century. Understanding that with the treaties of 1916 and 1935, the relationships between Qatar and Britain changed the developments of this country. Okay? But first, before the British government and the British rule and the British protectorate here in Qatar, the rulers of this region were the Ottomans. Okay, the Ottoman Empire was ruling this region. Okay, when I say this region, is that they were controlling not only Qatar, but in general, the Middle East. Okay, that was between 1871 and 1950. But before the World War One, okay, that is between 1912 to 1913, the Ottomans accepted that they couldn't control this region, that they didn't have enough power to rule, to deal with this region, so they gave the power to British. Okay, that is basically the first thing. But this is not, and as I said, exclusive of Qataris, okay, and this country. This was generalized in this region, in the Middle East, because, for example, the influence of a very important man in this region, that was T.E. Lawrence, known to as Lawrence of Arabia. Okay, this one was a British a diplomat. The first approach of this man, of Lawrence of Arabia, to the region was in an academic interest. Okay, he was interested in Mesopotamia and Egypt and the legacy of the region worldwide. But because of this, he learned Arabic, and he had very good relations with the most powerful families in the region. Okay, some of the most powerful families in the region. That, remember, this region was not organized as independent states or modern states, but mostly ruled by tribes. Okay, that is basically the basic characteristic of this region at the beginning of the 20th century. And this man helped the British crown, okay, to impulse a rebellion against the Ottoman power. Okay, and these powerful families found that Britain, the most powerful country and empire, in fact, during the very beginning of the 20th century, was the best partner that they could have to develop their political intentions, okay, and the economic plans that they had. Okay, so that is why not only Qatar, but in general the Middle East changed their eyes from the Ottoman Empire to the British Empire. Okay, and that is why in 1916 in Qatar, the Sheikh Abdullah bin Jassim Al Thani and George VI, the King of Britain during those days, signed the treaty between Qatar and Britain, the Treaty of 1916. Okay. Of course, we can say that this Sheikh, the Sheikh Abdullah bin Jassim Al Thani, understood the good decision that would be to have Britain as the new partner, okay, in general. But what was the context of this? Basically, The context was that Qatar was suffering in economics because of the decline of the pearl business. Okay, Japan was increasing the power in that business, and in general, they couldn't deal with that situation. Additionally, there was a huge lack of food. Okay, and Britain understood that weakness of this country, okay, of these tribes located in Qatar, and impulse the transformations that I said. Okay. Additionally, for Britain was important to stop two very serious problems that were piracy, that was increasing, and armed trade, that was illegal armed trade, okay, that basically represented a serious threat for the commercial routes that they created to connect the Persian Gulf, the Indian Ocean, okay, and what you can imagine, basically to get to India, China, the Southeast Asia, and in general to move the new very important discovery in this region in the Middle East, that was oil, okay? So if you can control this problem, piracy and arms trade, you can relax a little bit the problem, okay? But additionally, we have two international problems for them. They had, well, in Saudi Arabia, we had a new government, okay? The new royal family, that is the family Al Saud, okay, took the power. The first of them was Abdul Aziz Al Saud, okay, and he was not really convinced of the positive consequences of Britain in the region, okay. So Britain understood that having Qatar, Bahrain, and other regions, and other countries, as partners would be positive if they had to face a conflict with Saudi Arabia. But additionally, we are talking about the times of empires, of European empires. Okay, they distributed Africa, the Southeast Asia, they control China, India, and a lot of regions, okay, of this planet. So basically, this competition was absolutely important, and particularly here in Qatar and in general the Middle East, we had the competition between Germany, France, Russia, and the winner of that competition, that was UK, okay, or Britain. United States will enter to this competition late, but nowadays we can see that maybe we could confirm that the real winner was United States, okay? But we are talking about the very beginning of this century, the 20th century. So the real competition during those days was between Germany, France, Russia, and UK. So they signed a treaty, okay, that was important. I have a question. Why would Britain be interested in Qatar if Qatar didn't discover oil until 1940 in Al Duhan? Why would be Qatar important for British?
Because the piracy and have increased, and the illegal arms trade also made an issue for Britain trade route.
Yes, that's true, but additionally, because okay, Qatar didn't have oil for those days, but in 1908, okay, in Iran, okay, that during those days was Persia, they discovered oil, okay, and the company that controlled that oil was the British Persian Company, okay, and the British Persian Company later will change the name that was in the 60s or 70s, sorry, I don't remember now. But the new name was the British Petroleum Company, a very powerful, important, and influential company, okay, that moved the oil business in the Middle East, okay? For example, in 1927, was discovered oil in Iraq, okay? 1938 in Saudi Arabia. And all those discoveries were led and controlled by the British Persian Company. That means the British Petroleum Company. Okay? So you understand that maybe Qatar didn't have oil. That's true. But they had something absolutely important. They have a strategic position, okay, to protect the trade routes, okay, of oil. The oil that they obtain from these countries, okay? Iran originally, but then you can add Iraq, Saudi Arabia, etc. Okay? That is why this country was interesting for British. Now, what did they sign? Basically, they signed a pact of sea protection. Okay? Britain could use these territories, okay, these lands, to protect, to defend their business, their oil business, but at the same time they had to guarantee that Qatar wouldn't be attacked by any foreigner enemy, okay? Additionally, they had to stop the piracy, I mean the British, the illegal arms trade, and Qatar will accept to avoid, to stop slavery, okay? They accept free movement of Qatari ships, immunity and privileges for Qataris in general, okay? The treaty accepted, okay, or had included the rule of exclusive trade with Britain, weapons included, okay? The business of weaponry was absolutely important during those days and still being important nowadays, okay? But during those days, Britain said, you sign with us this treaty and you will only buy weapons to me, okay? To this empire. And in fact, that was not the only thing that they controlled. The relations in every single aspect of economy was a direct connection, Britain, Qatar. No foreigners, no other countries. The same with politics and in general, most of the aspects of the daily life. Finally, they accepted, I mean Qataris accepted the British coming to Qatar and living here. Okay, that was not normal, was not accepted, but now with this treaty, they accept it. Okay? Okay, now, in 1935, we have like a renewing of the treaty, okay? Signed again by the Sheikh Abdullah bin Jassim Al Thani, the same one that signed the 1916 treaty, okay? With few modifications, but basically it was the same idea. They Qataris obtained more protection from this treaty because during the 1916 treaty, they only had protection over the seas, okay? But in this case, the protection was in the sea, in the air, and in the land, okay? So that was, we could say, positive for Qatar, okay? Of course, we are talking about new times. During the 1916, we understand that maybe the protection was enough over the seas, okay? But now we have the developments of new weaponry that include serious threats by air and land. So that is why they accept to protect Qatar. I mean, the British accepted to protect Qatar in air and land too. Okay? But what is the context? The context is the previous, okay, and during the World War II. If you see, 1935 is not the time of World War II. World War II was between 1939 to 1945. Yes, we recognize that this is not the time of World War II. But what we have here is that after the World War I, after the economic crisis worldwide too, that was the Great Depression, okay? United States became the most powerful country, okay? And Europe was facing the biggest problem, okay? The biggest economic catastrophe that they faced in their history, in their modern history, okay? And you have to add that Europe was focused the efforts in the reconstruction of the cities and the society in general after the World War I. That was a tragedy. Anyways, World War II exploded. That was something unstoppable, okay? That happened, okay? So what is the context in the region of the Middle East? Basically, that Britain had two big problems. The first was that USA was expanding its influence in the region. And second, that the different peoples from the Middle East were unhappy with the British rule. Okay? They considered that that was not positive now, that maybe United States will be a better option, that in other words, they could obtain the independence, because after the World War I, this region, the Middle East, was divided, okay, and controlled by two big empires, Britain and France, okay? But, okay, this group of humans in this region were exhausted of this power. They had two big options. Now we can see another option, another partner, that is United States. And additionally, because of the movements of independence worldwide, okay, we can obtain our independence too. So if we move to the future, okay, now in the 60s, we have Africa, for example, with a lot of independence movements, okay? Some Asian countries declaring independence too. So a wave of independence worldwide included Qatar in this intention, okay? Britain then, going now to the 1968, accepted to leave the region, okay? Britain said, okay, we will accept the independence of all these countries, we leave Middle East, you are free to decide your future. Basically, you will have the sovereignty of your land, okay? That is why September the 3rd, 1971, Qatar declares the independence, led by the Sheikh Ahmed bin Ali Al Thani, okay? With this Sheikh, they obtained too the recognition to be member of the Arab League, and they joined the United Nations. When you have international recognition, that means that you are an independent country. And that happened in 1971, and now we have 1916, the first treaty with Britain, 1935, the renewing of this treaty, 1940, Qatar discovered oil in Al Duhan, okay, and then a lot of money is now coming to the people, okay. And finally, because of the movements of international independences, okay, that big wave of independences, we have a new independent state, Qatar, in 1971.